Hello, boys and girls. We are moving on to chapters 22 and 23 today. The next 2 weeks pass in a whirlwind. In spite of my little display of weirdness that Tuesday in class, I showed up at practice on Wednesday afternoon as if nothing had happened. Maybe nothing had. I was just being me. I'm not sure what the others thought. They said nothing about it. So, like all other team members, alternates and regulars alike, I stayed every day after school to practice from 3:30 till almost 6 o'clock. I still couldn't get over the fact I was part of the team. Okay, truth. There was the team and there was me, and we were in the same room, but we weren't quite a team. They appreciated the fact that I usually got the answers right, but when Mr. Dimming gave us multiple choice questions to answer, I had to think for only a moment and then hit the correct letter on my machine. But lots of the preparation involved fast and furious back and forth discussions, and I had trouble adding anything to do to what was being said most of the time. One of the longest one syllable words in the English language is screeched, Connor announced one afternoon as he chomped on a raspberry Twizzler. That's a good word for melody, Claire said as she snatched his candy and took a bite. I couldn't respond, and nobody else bothered to. What do you call that dot that goes over the letter I? Alina asked the group. I knew the answer, but it took me a long time to spell out the word. It's called a tittle, Amanda answered quickly, like the brain of a fifth grader. Oh, snap, said Rodney. I had planned to type snap when she said that too, but I was too slow. The group had already zoomed on to another question. Gee, like they talk fast. Who was the first child born in the American colonies? Rose asked, reading a huge stack of 3 by 5 cards in her hand. Virginia Dare, Alina answered. Okay, my turn. She flipped through her own cards, color coded, of course. Who was the first Miss America? That's dumb, Connor said. They're not going to ask a stupid girl stuff like that. You don't know the answer? Claire asked him. Of course I know, Connor replied with a snort. Margaret Gorman in 1921. She was 16 and probably looked better than you. He and Rodney were the only ones to laugh. Rodney jumped in then. I've got a nasty question. What is pediculus? Pediculosis. Wow, that was a tricky word, boys and girls. Without missing a beat, Rose answered, when you've got a scalp full of head lice. Ew. Do you know that from personal experience? Of course not. I was just looking for a hard word, Rodney told her. He and Connor didn't laugh that time. You want a hard word? I've got one, Amanda told the group. What is hexadytilism? Wow. Let's break that word down. Hexa, dactylism. That seemed to stump all of them for a minute. So I had time to tap on the number 6, followed by word fingers, then pushed play so they could all hear my answer. Good job, Melody, Alina said. How does she know all this stuff? Claire whispered to Rose. She's smart, Rose said, flipping through more cards. But she'll look odd on TV, don't you think? Claire continued as if she couldn't hear. I was ready for her. I had tapped a couple things that night before, so all I had to do was push a button. TV makes a lot of people look funny, I had the machine say. Maybe even you, Claire. Ooh, look who got snaps now, Connor hooted. Good one, Melody. If I could have danced, I would have. But as quickly as that moment happened, it disappeared. The team zipped on at rocket pace speed, feeding off one another's knowledge and skill. At that rate, they were going there. They were going. There was no way I could jump in quick enough. I listened, however, and remembered it all. What's the only rock that floats? Pumice. How many chromosomes do all humans have? 46. What is the first state to allow women to vote? Wyoming. What is Mr. Dimming's first name? Wallace. We all cracked up at that one. At the end of every prep session, Mr. Dimming gave us another official quiz from the national headquarters. Since those were always consisted of multiple choice questions, I always did well, but I wanted to be like the rest of them as we studied. On Thursday, in the middle of practice session, Rose's mom ordered pizza for everyone and had it delivered to school. Your mom rocks, Connor said. You're easy to please, Connor, Rose replied with a laugh. Everybody rushed to get a hot, spicy smelling slice from the box. I was starving like the rest of them, but I just sat there. You want some pizza? Alina asked me. I'll go get you a slice. She never said much during the practices, but she took lots of notes and she usually scored pretty high on her practice quizzes. Not hungry. How could I explain to her that without Catherine or my mom or Mrs. V, I wasn't able to eat? I had been fed like a baby, and I made a mess even then. When my mom came to pick me up, she asked me if I wanted to stop by Pizza Hut on the way home. I just shook my head. Chapter 23. The day after the actual competition draws bright and chilly. I shiver in the early March air as Mrs. V and I wait for my school bus. My jacket feels good. We've decided to use a manual chair today since the electric one, even with the car ramps, is a little too heavy for Mom to handle on her own. You ready, Mellow Yellow? Mrs. V asks me. Oh, yeah. Your hands feel like it's going to pop with all those facts stuck inside, she teases. Oh, yeah, I grin at her. You'll do fine. Better than fine. Dynamite. Possibly awesome, Mrs. V says. Oh, yeah, I push again. We'll all be downstairs in the audience cheering you on. And the team? There are others on the team, she asks, smacking herself on the forehead. I thought you were a solo act. And the team from other schools? Don't worry. You're smarter. Excuse me. You're smarter than all of them put together. So we'll be cheering the loudest. Your mom and dad and me and Penny. Do I look okay? Mrs. V looks up and down like a television star. Your mom tucked an extra blouse in your bag just in case, and Catherine knows what to do. I'm glad Catherine will be going with us, and I think Mr. Dimming is glad as well. Tell me the plan again. Your mom will be picking you up from school, taking you to get a bite to eat, and get you to the TV studio about 15 minutes before the rest of the contestants. Penny and your dad and I will meet you there. TV folks won't freak out when I show up. They are well prepared for you. Actually, it's possible a few reporters might be there and want to talk to you. Me? Why? I can't imagine why a news person would want to talk to somebody who can't only talk through a machine. How boring. You're a wonderful human interest story. Other people might be interested in knowing more about you. They won't make fun of me? Just the thought of it make my palms all sweaty. Mrs. V takes my hands in hers. Not at all. They'll admire you, I'm sure. You are Spalding Street Elementary School's own, here it is, boys and girls, personal Stephen Hawking. They're lucky. Hope so. Here's your bus. Have a great day, Melody. I'll see you tonight. I managed to get through the day without spilling anything on my clothes, and I'm relieved to see Mom when the last bell rings at school. After a quick meal of macaroni and applesauce in the car, smart Mom, nothing red, we head downtown. We find a handicapped parking spot right in the front of the studio, and after the usual unloading of the chair down the car ramps, seating me and strapping me in, then attaching Elvira, we roll inside. The receptionist, a chunky, pleasant woman with lots of makeup and frizzy hair, directs us to the staging area. I have to blink a little to figure it all out. Everything you see on TV is fake. I see the place where where they film the news. When I watch it on television at home, it looks like the reporters are sitting in front of a huge window that shows the whole downtown. But it's just a painting and it's pretty small. So is the desk where the reporters sit. It seems so much bigger from home. I recognize a couple of the reporters who I watch every day. I can't believe how skinny the morning lady is. On TV, she looks normal size. I'm going to look like a huge balloon when the cameras show me. Speaking of cameras, they are huge, like giant black mechanical space beings on wheels. Guys with headphones and women with clipboards run around checking stuff. The back part of the studio is dark, but the place where the contest will be taking place is lit brightly. I can see where the teams will stand and the big buttons they'll push for the answers. In another room behind the cameras is where all the action is. It's where the benches, where the audience sits. Some people have already started to file in. I can see them through the large glass window. I jump when Catherine taps me on the shoulder. Fascinating, huh? For real, I type. She and Mom chat a bit before the man wearing jeans and a Cincinnati Bengals sweatshirt approaches us. Excuse me, he says to me, but are you Melody Brooks? Surprised, I quickly hit yes. My name is Paul, and I'm the stage manager. His huge hand swallows mine as he shakes it. I'm glad you're here early. Let's see if we have you set up correctly. We're really glad to have you participate. He spoke directly to me, not Mom or Catherine. I liked him right away. We roll across the studio, careful to avoid cords and wires, and enter an area where the competition will take place. This is where the members of each team will stand, he explains. They each have four large buttons in front. Red is for the letter A, B is, I'm sorry, blue is the letter B, yellow is for the letter C, and D, of course, is green. I nod. And here, Miss Melody, is where you will sit, right next to your teammates. I have rigged a special answer board for you, so it's adjusted to the height of your wheelchair. He looks pretty proud of himself as he shows me the setup. Wow, I type, this is perfect. How did you know? My son is in a wheelchair, he says with a shrug. I build stuff for Rusty all the time, but there's no way he could do what you're about to do. He kneels down so he can look me in the eye. Knock their socks off, champ. Rusty will be watching. Okay, I type, for Rusty. He rolls me behind my answer board and lets me practice with four color-coded buttons. Because they are so large, hitting the right one is actually easier than using my MediTalker. I don't even have to aim with my thumb. I can use my whole fist. When I hit the red button, the letter A lights up on the screen in front of me. Lock in my answer. Thanks, Paul, I type. Very, very much. He winks, gives all the buttons a quick punch to make sure that they all light up, then tells me he'll see me later. I can do this, I tell Mom and Catherine. I'm ready. The rest of our team starts to arrive. Connor, dressed in a black suit with a red tie, actually looks good. Rose, blushing and nervous, is wearing pale blue. Hi, Melody, she says. Are you scared? Nope, not at all, I type. My mom made me wear this tie, Connor complains as he rolls his finger inside his shirt collar to loosen it. I hope I don't choke on live TV. If he does, at least the attention will be on him instead of me. What if I do something stupid or start to drool and the camera does a close-up? Amanda, Rodney, Molly, and Alina, the alternates, look a little sad as they wander around the studio. They won't get a chance to participate unless something happens to disqualify one of the four of us. I guess that includes Connor feigning or me convulsing. Are you okay? I hear Rose ask Amanda. Yeah, but it's just like I'm all dressed up with nothing to do. I feel ya, Rose says. Break a leg, Amanda tells her. Really? Rose smiles. That's what you're supposed to say for good luck, Amanda explains. I know, but look at it this way. At the finals in Washington, there are 6 people on the team. So that opens up things up a little bit. So go out there and win. Will do. Claire and Molly make funny faces at the front of the camera, pretending they are on the air, and neither speaks to me. Look, Claire, Molly says, her voice for once in awe of something. You can see your reflection in the camera over there. Do I look okay? Claire asks, smoothing her dress. You look great, Molly assures her. You know, I it really ought to be you up there instead of Melody, Claire says loud enough for me to hear. Well, I'm ready if she messes up, Molly whispers back. I just shake my head and think, delete, delete, delete. No way am I letting their negativity mess me up. I have enough to worry about. Mr. Dimming hurries in then, wearing a brand new navy blue suit, a fresh white shirt, and a red vest and tie. The whole team cheers, and Connor gives him a high five. He buzzes around for a bit like a nervous bumblebee. He checks on details, wishes us all good luck, then goes to sit in the observation area. No teachers are allowed near the students during the competition. Catherine is allowed to stand in the back behind the cameras, so just in case I have an emergency. Other teams start to fill in the studio as well. One team from Green Hills Academy is all dressed in Kelly green sweaters. Not a bad idea, but the sweaters are ugly. Another team from Crown Elementary is wearing little fake crowns on their head. That seems to me a little over the top. Our team hasn't done anything special. They don't need to. They have me. Hope you enjoyed those two chapters, boys and girls. There will be a question on Google Classroom to take a look at.